Okay. So yes, apologies to our thousands of visitors, of viewers. We had a StreamYard problem that's dumped us out of our session. So that is now part one. This is part two of session 1 of 5 of Hearts of Wulin, Coeur de l'Épée. And we were at the point, I think, of Pavel. Were you at the? I think Pavel, you were in the process of coming up with a romantic entanglement. Oh, there's no Pavel. Where's Pavel gone?
He's not here yet.
Lost.
I find it very odd seeing you back down there as postage stamps. I rather like the kind of all arrayed in front of me. Okay, we'll give... Well, while we're waiting for Pavel to come back, let me move along to Nathalie. General or romantic? Take your pick.
Yes, I think... which one was I looking at? I was looking at a general for the moment. I think... I'm not sure who this friend is, but I think they suspect... the one I'm looking at is my friend Blank suspects Blank of evil, but I remain steadfastly loyal. And the person who they suspect of evil is probably my employer / mentor / guardian, the quote-unquote Genevieve from the Apostles. I don't know. I guess it depends on who's interacting with his secret society on a somewhat regular-ish basis.
So, in summary?
Hold on. Let me find the time when I paste it into the character. Yeah, entanglements are always the trickiest part for me. I don't know why, because then you'd have to fit them into characters people have made with some entanglements. Anyway, why am I talking about this? Actually, I might change that because I don't realize. Wait, no, I just described Nathalie as being loyal to no one but herself, so this doesn't make any sense.
I can come back to you.
Yeah, I'm having some weird. Yeah, my mind is resisting these entanglements. I think I will need to sit down with them just a bit more.
Yeah, well, remember, we can always tweak them. In play and at the start of every session. But Pavel, thank goodness, I was getting worried about you.
Sorry, I was making some tea in the kitchen.
So you have filled in a romantic one. Do you want to hit us with your romantic entanglement?
Oh, you went through other stuff? Yes. So I thought about having a spicy one. And because I added Illuminati, it had to be connected. So the idea is that disguised as another gender, we can work out why I was dressed as a woman. That would be kind of interesting on its own. I fell in love with Claudine Robertine, obviously a cardinal's younger sister. But L'Infernal knows my secret and could reveal it at any time.
Perhaps Claudine Robertin is living in a convent, which... At the time, you didn't necessarily have to be a nun, and you were disguising yourself as a woman to visit your lover, who was also in the convent. And that's how you met her and fell in love.
Yes, but I have to say that I'm also setting up that Claudine is a member of the Apostles, not the Church. But I mean, I can go anyway. I just wanted to steer from having a romantic feelings toward the nun. It might be really weird.
Well, I'm saying that she doesn't have to be a nun to be living in a convent at the time.
Well, I mean, if she is the younger sister, ward, whatever, of the cardinals, might make sense that she's been raised in the convent without being a nun herself.
Okay. Yeah, of course. And I mean, obviously, I was infiltrating to learn some secrets for the crown, and
Okay.
so let's work on this a bit more. Like, how do you know about this, Line Fernet? Did you have to help me? Have you seen me?
Yeah, I think. I think you. I think I actually helped you with your disguise. Me and my maid Emily. We know each other slightly. We're friends. So I helped make you up and showed you how to disguise yourself.
Awesome.
Where else would you go but to the greatest actress of the Parisian stage? Okay,
Of course.
that's cool. Leandro, how are you feeling about Nathalie?
For some reason, I have the urge to also have a Lanfern entanglement, because why not?
I think most of Paris has some kind of entanglement with Lanfern, so why not
yeah. But this is a negative one because I think I stole something precious from Charles de Vray, but they're blaming. But I think his suspicions are on Lanfern, on my ally.
Yeah, you stole a manuscript, which it had an excellent part for my rival Victoire.
Yeah, and like, look, I didn't know you know Victoire, but I'm conducting I have to defend myself against her. This is just a part of it.
Right. Well, I mean, the author of this manuscript, it quite possibly contains a coded message.
Oh God. Charles de Vray.
But is it a general one or a romantic one?
The general one.
Okay.
Okay, I'll let you fill that in for Nathalie, and then we've got one left, I think, for Mateo, the romantic one.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I have the idea there is an entanglement called you are betrothed or promised to the wealthy blank, but I love the commoner blank. And I wonder if the wealthy blank could be Nathalie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who you actually in love with though?
Emily, of course.
Of course.
I mean, she's a comer, we know, so I mean right now that's what's right now going on right now. Who knows how that will turn out. Right.
For what it's worth, if you lot are struggling to pull this together, my brain is kind of, I don't know, exploding or imploding with the various possibilities this is opening. So keep the ball rolling, folks. So, promise to wealthy Nathalie, but I love the commoner Emily. Spot on. So, round we go to Lanfern, will we still have a general one left to complete?
I was thinking I humiliated Lieutenant Duchamp, Captain Darvanville's protege, in a duel, and they are taking it out on my known associate, Volo.
Oh.
I don't hear anyone disagreeing with that. Now, Pavel, I think you've sketched out a nemesis, but I don't think that we've confirmed that nemesis.
Yes, the idea is that Volo had a brief romance because Lanfern is like so distant and so desired by everyone. So Volo decided to go for another actress, Ida, and he had a brief affair with Ida. After the affair ended, he wasn't a real gentleman. He kisses and tells a lot. And Simon Chastain, who is a famous duellist from the Firebrands, he doesn't take kindly to someone's slamming the good reputation of his sister. So yeah.
Is there any possibility that we could use the face of the firebrands as rather than inventing another firebrand at this point? Can we make use of
course.
Amélie Rossignol?
Of course.
So your nemesis, I insulted Amélie Rossignol's sister, Ida, and they want revenge by destroying my reputation. Does that fly?
Yes.
I just realized that Emily and Amélie sound very
They
similar.
do.
So
Yeah.
maybe we'll call the leader of the firebrand Simone.
Fine. So it's Simone Rossignol.
Simone. Yes.
That's okay, Stephen.
Yeah.
And almost inevitably, Leandro, I come back to you for a final romantic entanglement.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot to choose from. I am trying to like stick to the new ones, for this setting.
I mean, for what it's worth, Lowell, I think would welcome any feedback on those specific entanglements. So if we can play with them, that's great.
Yeah. Ooh. Just trying to think like which person I've not really been entangled with yet. I think I'm entangled with everyone here, whether through them or through me.
I'm afraid we might. Oh, we have one, so we are good.
Yeah, we have one. Like, I think we are vaguely opposed against each other, or at least, yeah. You know me as being duplicitous. I have duplicitous schemes about. I do want to. Let's see. I want to get entangled with a nemesis of yours, either Jerome Darbanville or Simone Rossignol. Let's see. I do want to be maybe kind of in love with one of them, just so I don't know. I get entangled with trying to take any of you apart, which is always fun. I might have to pick from one of the more generic Hearts of Wulin. Don't let me like. Don't let me get hold up proceedings because I.
Well, no, it's okay. I mean, let's leave it. Let's leave it, and then fill it in when you're feeling when the juices are flowing, because we now have all of our characters. We have a rich and varied political environment and a significant number of non-player characters to interact with. So what I'd like to do is to invite each of you to highlight either your romantic or general entanglement. And I would like to play towards that for the rest of this session. I'd imagined we'd spend most of this session setting the game up because we have the luxury of 5 sessions. But I would like then to have an introductory scene which shows you interacting with that entanglement. And that could be one of the, depending on which one you choose, that could be an NPC or one of the player characters. So who would like to offer to set a scene around one of their entanglements first?
Do we also get bonds?
Oh gosh, sorry, well spotted. I beg your pardon. Yes, you need to choose someone from your romantic and someone from your general and have a bond of one with them. Thanks, Pavel. Leandro, feel free to leave that romantic one empty for now, and we'll worry about it at a later time. Okay. Okay, so we have Lanfern. You have a bond with Victoire, the person your rival from the theatre, and from General with Volo, because you are because somebody is taking out their anger on your friend Volo. Okay. Lanfern is the bond that Nathalie has, presumably because Charles de Vray blamed your ally Lanfern. We must explore the nature of that alliance at some point. Mateo has a bond with Nathalie due to their romantic entanglement, and with Papa Isidore Betancourt, Colonel Betancourt, to his men for the general one. And we've got Claudine and Nathalie are Volos. I get that. Okay, so who would like to tell me which entanglement they would like to explore in a scene to get the ball rolling?
I have an idea to explore all my entanglements, actually, because Emily is the servant of, or the maid of Lanfern, right? So if I were to hang out around the theater and try to spot her or Lanfern, that would kind of be interesting in in all kinds of ways.
I think that sounds fine. So where do we see you in the theatre? Do we see you outside the theatre?
I mean, I'm not at that point where I just want to go against my father's commands. So I think I am trying to rather mundanely purchase tickets because it's a theater and you can get there to see a show. And I've never been to a theater before, and I hear it's quite good.
I mean, how I have a question. How did you get to know Emily? It sounds if we are not yet close acquaintances.
I have the idea that Emily might be very. I mean, she's your maid. She goes to the market. She gets your supplies. She takes your clothes to laundry and takes them back. And I might have met her on the marketplace, and then, well, I stumbled over her, something fell down, I picked it up, we get to talking, boy meets girl.
And so...
and then when you found out that she was the maid to the notorious Lanfern, who your father has warned you against.
Yes, and who I have heard very interesting, I mean, she's supposed to be a very famous actress, and I might have seen maybe some kind of notice or something, like a billboard with her picture on it, and I might have thought, oh wow, that is somebody who's very worldly, which I'm not, and that means that I should meet this person.
Oh, can I ask Lanfern, what makes that poster displaying your recent play scandalous?
Ooh.
Because I am playing a noble woman who had an affair with the cardinal of the church.
Okay, so it sounds as though we have a scene set up where Mateo is loitering around the theatre, perhaps hoping to see Emily or catch her on her way home after the performance. Does that seem like a decent setup?
Yep.
But instead of Emily coming out of the stage door, Lanfern emerges.
Oh, I am taken by surprise.
So let's see what happens.
Excuse me, good sir. Would you be so kind as to step aside?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Very sorry to be standing here where I shouldn't be, obviously. I just got confused. This is this is a very big theater. This is not the main entrance, is it?
You are not from Paris, I perceive.
No, I have recently arrived from Spain, actually.
How charming. Well, if you will simply walk this way around to the front of the theater, that is where it is customary to purchase tickets.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, I will do that. Forgive me, I have not introduced myself, which I should have, as a gentleman. My name is Mateo Betancourt, and, yes. And I can obviously see that you are the very famous L'Enfant, who I have
Indeed.
seen pictures of, and might I say that the reality quite surpasses the pictures.
May I ask if you are any relation to Colonel Isidore Betancourt?
I'm a son.
And I give a very, very long stare. Are you?
I
How charming.
assume so. He said that. Yes, I will now.
Well, I would not challenge the truth of anything Colonel Isidore Betancourt said. I am sure he is a very honorable man. If he says that you are his son, why, I imagine he would be in a position to know with some amount of confidence.
I would imagine so as well. Yes. I think Mateo is blushing a little because he's quite out of his depth and he feels it, but he will man himself up and make a slight bow to you and say, "Well, ma'am, forgive me for intruding. I am charmed."
Can I ask, Mateo?
Yeah.
Your father has come up, and
Yes.
you know that your father has told you must not mix with this woman, and yet she has invited you to proceed to be guided by her to where you could buy a ticket. How does that make you feel? We've got the blushing going on.
I cut her off in a conflict, I just realized.
I was just wondering if that's where we might go next.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll roll for in a conflict. That's fine because I shouldn't, but I want to. But I shouldn't.
Indeed.
Oh, I've rolled a 10. I totally want to.
So you mark XP routinely.
I do. Yes. Yeah.
And you manage to keep yourself together. So you've manned up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you decide to do?
I bow to her slightly and say, "Well, I am charmed to have made your acquaintance, good ma'am, lady."
Oh no, I am not anyone's good lady. I am L'Enfant.
Forgive me for the faux pas. I apologize deeply.
There is no need to apologize.
I did not mean to insult you.
Oh,
I am very
believe me, if you had insulted me, you would know. And I put my hand on my sword.
Where is L'Enfant wanting to take this interaction?
Oh, I'm not taking it anywhere just yet. As I said, I was not insulted.
Yeah, but you can see the spark of interest in Mateo's eyes. Like, oh, I've heard you're a famous duellist.
Yes.
But this is obviously not why I am here, to challenge you to any kind of duel.
Oh, that is not at all obvious. I am surprised most young men who wait for me at the stage door are in fact there to challenge me to a duel. It is quite tedious. It seems like every young rustic who comes to town thinks they can make their reputation by dueling the famed L'Enfant. It is... a word of advice, it is quite passé.
As I said, I have not had any plans to do that. As interesting as it might sound. But I do not wish to presume upon your time.
Mind you, I would advise you to engage in a duel as soon as possible after coming to town. It is the only way to make your reputation.
Oh, I already
do not
have.
aim to, but you have dueled already.
Oh,
Well
yes.
done. Well done.
Well, yes, and I actually won the duel. It was quite a thing.
a good beginning.
Thank you. I hope to make more of a splash, but, I will purchase, obviously, theater tickets to see your play. I am very interested in the theater.
How fascinating. I understand that your father disapproves of the theater quite ardently. He has spoken against it quite often in public, denouncing the Théâtre Spectaculaire, a place, I admit, of quite worldly delights, as unsuitable for the youth of this city.
I did not know he was quite as ardent. I mean, he warned me that might not be an appropriate way to pass my time, but as my confessor back in Spain told me, a young man should, as part of growing up, make up his own mind about things.
Quite right. I would not be guided by the colonel in any matter. But, well, I meant no insult.
Well, he is my father, and I must respect him. You will understand.
Yes, you are bound to. I understand. It is a serious misfortune.
That sounds like we've established a bit of a relationship, and it sounds as though there was certainly a barb aimed at Colonel Betancourt, even if assured that there was not actually any intent to. So I that feels like scene to me, unless there's something specific you want to do with that.
That's fine. I'll let that stand now. And I think you see that Mateo is struggling to find a witty answer to that, but can't find one, and then he will make his leave, or we just cut the scene. Sorry.
Okay, so we've had a sense of Mateo in our opening sequence. Who would like to suggest another entanglement they would like to display to our audience?
I had a suggestion for scene of Volo and Nathalie.
That's fine by me. Do you want to set the scene, please?
I'm thinking it's the party. Is the party? I don't remember the French ambassador. We know he's valet, but we don't know but I don't remember the ambassador.
Let's call him the Duke de Madrid. Let's call him the Duke de Madrid.
Duke de Madrid. So it's a party thrown by Spanish ambassador to celebrate another ceasefire in a unprovoked military short war between Spain and France, and now it's time to reinvigorate the good relationship between Spain and France. So the Duke de Madrid is throwing up a party in Paris, and it's like, I think it's quite a large party. He probably maybe will make an appearance. Maybe his valet will make an appearance. Who knows? And I think the scene goes that Volo is kind of trying to follow Nathalie because he spots her in the crowd, and he really tries to just follow and observe and learn what is she really here to do before confronting her about it.
Okay, so Nathalie, you give us a bit of scene setting then. What is it that tells us that this is a party given by the Spanish ambassador rather than just another noble, and tell us what we see you doing.
Yeah. Actually, first off, this is completely random, but I just remember that Sabine has a start of session move.
She does, and I forgot about it. I'm going to come back to it. I forgot about it too, even though when I looked forward to the game, I looked so much forward to taking this move.
Well, let me deal with the Nathalie and Volo, and then we'll come back to that one.
Yeah, I think the way that this is thrown by the Spanish ambassador is that they brought live music, and it is very much I think it's live music specifically from. There's this province in the Iberian Peninsula called Galicia, which is like not a place you'd expect the Celts to have taken over, but I think it's music from that place. So it's like Iberian influenced mandolins, which is weird, but like I think it's very much this is technically Spanish, sovereign soil.
And I think we may see some of the French nobles who've been invited rather uncomfortably trying to work out how you dance to this music.
Yeah, it's probably a bit more energetic than what they're used to.
Yes, and many of them stand aside when it gets a little bit riotous. Yeah,
and I think we see like Nathalie is like lurking through the crowds. Like she's talking to every other person and whatnot. But I think, as Sabine mentioned in the chat, she's engaged. So there aren't people like looking for her. So she's just like she's doing her best to like blend into the scenery. And I do want to roll a move. It's called Final Master. When you declare a plan. Yes, I have a plan. And I'll roll and I get some hold to be able to use that in the future. I don't have the link to the dice roller.
It's in the chat, and I've just realised, of course, it doesn't stay there, does it? In a convenient way to do it. Hang on a second, I'll put it there again. Here you go.
You can fix the chat.
Oh, can you?
I mean,
show messages.
Yeah.
Yes, if you reveal the chat and fix, and then there's an up arrow. The Android, you will find the link up there.
It's also on the CC1 Basics tab.
It is.
Oh, it's in the Basics tab. I'm trying to figure out which tab it's in, but like, of course it's in.
Sorry, I should have said.
Oh, there it is. Yes, there it is. The funny that's very eager to show that they're famous. Okay. All right, so I'll just roll. I think I'm definitely rolling with. Go back to look at the elements here. Rolling with wood, I think. I'm trying to be patient about this. Actually, no, I think it's metal. It's calculation. Yeah, it's all part of the plan, so to speak. Submit, and of course that's a 4. So, what happens on this is. I can hold 1, and those hold lets me add +1 forward to a roll, clear an element, or have a vital item at hand. But on a miss, I can still hold 1. But the tables are turned at you at some point, which, considering there's someone here who knows I'm up to no good, is very useful. I think what this looks like is like Volo can tell that Nathalie's like doing like this circuitous route. But you can see that like I'm on my way to like at least talking towards the valet to Hugo Diaz, but so you can see that very clearly.
Fine. So he is discreetly standing by in a corner where he can be quickly summoned by his master when he needs a drink or when he needs something done or the music needs to be changed. So he's standing there and he's an upright man. He's in middle age. Balding with a single kind of braided queue, and he's standing there all dressed in black. So, Volo, you see Nathalie not making a beeline, but it's pretty clear that she is working her way in the direction of the ambassador's valet. What do you do?
I think Volo will position himself directly in a way not to stop her like this, but to just like be there and just like start a conversation before Nathalie can get to the valet.
Well, let's see that conversation then.
Oh, Nathalie! What a surprise to see you at the party.
I think like Nathalie is like. She doesn't really see you coming, and there's that flicker of annoyance, like she didn't see you coming. Do you have a rank? Because I don't know if I call you Volo.
I think since the captain is using me as since the captain is above me, I think I should be lieutenant.
Okay. Oh, Lieutenant Aveline, I didn't expect to see you here as well. I didn't know. I wouldn't suspect to see one such as yourself here at the Duke de Madrid's party. I think like she's recomposing herself, so to speak.
Oh, come on! The simple fact that 2 weeks ago we were shooting and stabbing each other's sides with the sabers and black powder pistol doesn't mean we cannot be civilized and 2 weeks later be at the same party. So, me and Spanish are now officially in the ceasefire. So I'm here to enjoy and maybe meet my future opponents. However, I'm really curious. I noticed you and Mr. Diaz, and I've heard, and Volo would just like lean in closely, slightly, so that not everyone will hear. He will not speak openly about it. So that I've heard rumors that you might have some plans toward Validius. I was wondering what those plans might be.
Before you answer that question, you will notice that the valet has just left the ballroom.
Oh, this is annoying. I think Nathalie will like just notice that, and I think Volo will see that like she's a tiny bit more agitated, and she says, "Well, Lieutenant Aveline, if you don't mind me imparting some words of wisdom, I very much think if one would ask about certain rumors about certain people, you wouldn't do to ask them so openly when we're in a public place." And I think, like, I don't know, it feels like if you want her to spill, it has to be some sort of roll or something, or...
Sure. So we are at this party. People probably like next to us are like loudly talking. Some people are trying to like speak louder there than the music is playing, and Volo will like step like even slightly closer, maybe like slightly breaking your comfort zone, Nathalie's comfort zone, and he will say, Nathalie, I'm just here as your friend. I'm not here in the official manner as a lieutenant or as anyone. I'm here as your friend, and we have just made a ceasefire. Making any kind of scene on this here would mean that blood would be spilled on the streets of Paris. So, please, let me help you somehow.
If nothing else, this sounds at least like a study roll by Volo to work out what's going on here. Does that seem fair? Or have you got
either that
something
or
else in mind?
thinking hearts and minds, yeah.
Take your pick.
Let's go hearts and minds because it gives you experience if you do what I ask. So I think it's far more better. Let me. I said these things. It's always so complicated to pick something over here. I think I'm using Earth. I'm using cautious word that we have just made a ceasefire, and I'm here trying to leverage my friendship. So I think I'm going to use cautious and presence from so Earth.
Okay, let's see how that goes.
It looks like an 8.
So, on a hit, for PCs, on a hit, if they mark experience if they do as you ask. So, basically, you are asking Nathalie to spill.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I think in response, I'm gonna have to roll inner conflict because my romantic entanglement, which I just made for myself, because none of them really fit. I'm enamored by Simone Rossignol, but she wants to enlist me in her vendetta against Volo Aventine. So like, oh my god.
Yes.
Because like I don't mind Volo. Volo seems decent, but like Simone really doesn't like him for. Well, he insulted her sister.
So I'm very happy for you to roll for inner conflict.
Yeah.
Mark XP and tell me what your reaction looks like.
I think I'm gonna roll with Earth as well. I'm trying to figure out if I want to be I'm trying to be cautious about this. Mark XP as well. Okay. Okay, so that's an 11. So I think I do have a choice here. I think like there's like a glint in Natalie's eyes, and like as she kind of like looks over Volo, and she kind of like leans forward, and I think she has this like conspiratorial tone in her voice as she says like, "Well, Lieutenant Aveline, there is a difference between marching up against an enemy face to face in between all the bullets and the blood and this kind of battlefield." And she kind of like waves around the room we're in, where words can hurt as much as any bullet through the throat. In fact, it could hurt even more because you'll be left alive to deal with the consequences. But if you must know, but I think that she says like, if you must know, then you should be prepared to face those kinds of consequences. Do you think you're up to the task, Lieutenant?
Of course.
Well,
maybe allow me to continue. He would like stand up, like push his chest forward. His cloak is like flapping behind him, and he's like, and we see the like regiment garb on him, and he says, "I'm no stranger to swords and bullets. Words can't hurt me either."
Someone opens the French windows onto the garden, and a breath of wind billows the cloak behind him.
Yeah.
Twist his mustache and listen and wait for you.
I think Natalie sees that and is just like, oh, how can anyone dislike this bloke? He seems fine. We need to talk to Simone about this. And I think like now it's like, well, you certainly seem up to the challenge. So if you must know, well then, I don't know. I think she says, well, since you're up to the challenge, let me induct you into the great game we nobles play. And I think like she'll kind of take you and like talk, like kind of probably grab like a drink and kind of put that in your hands. And I think like see, the thing is, I'm not exactly sure what Nathalie wants either. I think she'll tell you like that like she's basically going to ingratiate herself to Hugo Diaz, and it's like, I think the way she explains it's like, you know, it's a game that all governments play, and sadly the consequences are trickled down to the military. But you know, governments and people interested in governments, they try to just figure out what each person wants, what are their likes, dislikes, so they can use it for later. It's intelligence gathering, is how Nathalie describes it. It's like, well, since we're here to make friends, we're here to just get to know each other. And the trick is only giving as much as you're willing to let go. Like, for instance, Lieutenant Aveline, what's your favorite drink?
Wow. I don't have a name. I think his favorite name... he's French. He would say like... oh my god, there's dry wine and semi-dry... and yeah, he would say, of course, red dry wine from the Chevalier's province.
Well, not to say that I'm against you, but she's filing that in her head. Well, not to say that I'm against you, but now that you told me that, that's information I can use. See, intelligence gathering is about never letting go of any tiny detail. And for tonight, I'm here to learn details about our dear ambassador's valet. And I think like she's looking around. Hugo's not around, but
She saw where he went, though.
yeah. But the thing is, I think she's using this opportunity to like ingratiate herself with Volo at least.
Well then, if you would allow me to accompany you, just to make sure that no harm comes to you or the ambassador's valet. I'll be safeguarding the ceasefire.
I think like Nathalie will like take a drink, take a sip, and says, "Well, you certainly seem up to the task. It would be an insult to say no to one of Captain Betancourt's favored lieutenants." And I think like she will walk off and like expect you to just follow. She is a noble person. So
And I think that we will cut that scene at the point when Nathalie walks away and Volo follows her.
Yes.
Can I suggest a 5-minute bio break at this point?
Yes.
See you at 1:15.
Mm-hmm.
Be there or be square. Well, given that Sabine has already had her kind of opening scene, I'm left with Nathalie and L'Inferne. Both of you have identified your romantic as the one you want to engage with in this session. So which one of you would like to set a scene?
I do want to kind of like tie a bow on that ending of that previous scene, just because like I don't want to be like, because it does feel like because this is the opening session, we're just like tying up some scenes. We can say that like because Volo intervened, and
well, I've got a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
If we can get the opening scenes for Nathalie doing something else, we can have a flashback that you can link into next time, relating to what happened with Volo. Would that be all right?
Yeah. No. What I was saying is that, like, I'm just saying, like, we don't have to come back to.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We can just say that, like, because Volo intervened, that like Nathalie missed her chance to like. So we probably say like, oh, the valet has gone off to do something, so instead, Nathalie just like spent the rest of that night like, okay, fine, I guess I made a rapport with Volo. Maybe Simone will find this interesting. Okay, sure. If that's okay with Pavel.
Yeah, okay. So he blew the op then.
I think that's fitting for failing that.
Well then, given that you were engaged with that one, let's go to L'Inferne and ask L'Inferne to set a scene related to her romantic entanglement. I am in love with Victoire Alouette, my rival at the theatre, not knowing that she plots against my friend Nathalie Duchemin, who gets sucked into all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with sorry, I've been trying to come up with a scene. I've been sort of blanking on how to get this started. It's
well, I'm very happy. I mean, you could. It's either with Victoire or with Nathalie. So I mean, it could simply be a scene that gives us a flavour for the relationship that you might wish to have with Victoire.
All right, and yeah, okay. I think that's something at the theater, and I think Victoire and I are definitely not lovers yet. We are definitely rivals. And I may not have even realized yet how much I am in love with her that I am. So.
Well, yeah, then let me suggest that Victoire is in the wings when you come off from your big finale at the end of the performance. Would that get the ball rolling?
Sure.
Oh, my dear girl. Somehow they just don't applaud the way they did, do they?
Well, it's a matinee. What can you expect?
Yes, I'm really surprised that you continue to do the matinees, darling. I mean, surely someone of your standing should be performing only to the greatest crowds in the evening. Performing to commoners during the day is so...
But have you seen my understudy, darling? Have you seen her butcher the part? No. I could not simply allow her to go on.
Well, of course, there is someone else who could play that part. Were you to wish to just rest during the afternoon, perhaps open your salon?
I am not so old and tired as all that. I am quite capable of maintaining my position in the theater.
Oh, darling, you entirely misunderstand. It's just my effort to help. You do look rather tired these days.
Oh, no. That is simply late evenings, not the demands of performance. Well, not of theatrical performance.
Oh, you are such a card, darling, such a card. Oh, I never know what you're going to say.
Is that are you referring to my ad-lib in Act 3? I assure you, that was entirely deliberate. The actor bobbled his line. The audience laughed at an inopportune time. I needed to bring them back. Well, when you're more experienced, you'll understand these things.
Oh, I'm sure. I simply wish to learn at the feet of the greatest actress of the age, my dear. I simply wanted to say that if you're uncomfortable with your understudy undertaking some matinees, I am very willing to step in.
Well, of course, this is Master Defray's decision. But...
Oh, but we all know he takes his lead from you, dear.
And don't forget it.
But then would you not simply take pity on a young actress trying to make her way in the world? To play a part written for you just once or twice would be such an honour.
No. Dalphane is still essential. And as long as I am the first actress of this company, I will play this part and no one else.
And she leans in and takes your hand delicately and says, always the greatest.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I feel a strange flutter as she takes my hands, and I think this is inner conflict.
I would be surprised if it wasn't.
Yes. And I forgot to specify. Well, that's
how do we see you?
Right. Yeah. So I think that was probably water, but I just rolled a 2.
How, because awareness, wisdom, flexibility, how do we see that? How do we see for the first time the steel frame of Lanfern suddenly slightly wobbly?
I mean, I think she takes my hand. She takes my hand, and it's like. And I open my mouth to say something, and I'm struck dumb.
And then
I actually stammer.
And so you roll for inner conflict. On a 2. 2 altogether. Oh, dearie me. On a miss, mark XP, and the GM makes things much worse. I think we see Charles de Vray observing this exchange. His eyebrow rises as if to suggest perhaps she is losing her touch. Does that seem fair?
Oh, yes.
And then we see Victoire notice him and go and gather up his arm and say, "Oh, Monsieur de Vray, let us take a walk together."
And I will be in my dressing room, and I walk off without even taking a bow.
And I think the terrible thing is that neither of them look back at you. Is that seen?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay. So you marked XP to roll it, and you did so. You on a miss, you also marked more XP. So it's all grist to the mill.
Yes.
So that leaves us with Nathalie to engage with. You highlighted romantic, Nathalie. So I am enamored by Simone Rossignol, but she wants to enlist me in her vendetta against Volo Aventine. So how would you like to set the scene that might kind of just showcase that?
Yeah, I think it is going to be like I think it's going to be straight up conversation with Simone. I think, let's see, she is part of the Firebrands. Sorry, I say Firebrand, just think of the game system, Mobile Frame Zero Firebrands. That's a completely different thing. Yeah, I think this is a public place. We're having drink. Invited her for some sort of salon to like just have like a quick chat. I don't imagine this will be too long because I'm conscious of time.
Probably taking coffee with her. This new thing that's raging through Paris.
Yeah, coffee, and I think obviously Nathalie has already had coffee before because she could afford to get coffee. So I think like when we kind of like cut in, I think we're in mid conversation, and Nathalie is just saying, "So I had to let him go. I had to let Hugo get away because because of Lieutenant Aveline, and in many ways,
not Volo Aventine."
Yes, the very same. And I know you've told me about the ways in which he is quite earnest, but I don't think
Ernest. The man's a cad.
He is. I think like nothing like laughs at that. He is a scoundrel. I'm sure he is, but he is terribly straightforward about these sort of things. I've found.
Nathalie, not again. You're not going to fall for one of these scoundrels again.
I think she raises an eyebrow at that. She says, Simone, I've learned my lessons time after time. I simply am observing the characteristics of this Lieutenant Aveline and making sure they jive with what you've told me.
So how do we get to him then? How do we destroy him?
Sorry, I'm just giggling at this entire conversation. Yeah. I think. Well, I know what you told me, what he said about your sister, but destroy seems might be a tad zealous, don't you think?
Am I not your greatest friend, Nathalie?
She thinks about all the other times other people have asked her if she's her greatest friend, which has been a lot of people over the years. I'm gonna roll inner conflict for this because it seems like the moment.
Mark experience, roll the dice.
Yeah.
With what?
Yes, I think I'm rolling with metal for this. I think I'm trying to like again calculate like what's in this for me to help her out for
Well, you are enamored of her.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's the thing as well. She's just so bloody passionate. And that's exciting for someone like me who's not the least bit passionate. All right, so that's a 9. So I either have to mark an element or flee from the scene. I'll absolutely mark an element. I don't know. This is not the moment to flee.
Okay. So which one?
Let's see. I think I am going to mark fire. I think I'll be a bit reckless.
So how do we show me some reckless?
I think like Nathalie's like, I think like, well, of course you're my greatest friend, Simone, and yes, I might have been a bit distracted. Lieutenant Aveline, He is terribly charming. He can be. But I won't... But the thing is, I do have his good graces now. And given how dear of a friend you are, those good graces, well, they're at your service, Simone.
Then let us plot how you will inveigle your way into his life and find the things I need to destroy him.
Well, for starters, his favorite drink is a dry red. And I think Nathalie will just keep going with all the stuff. The little things that she had been weaseling out of.
And I think that unless you've got anything else, we might have the scene close out with dear Simone saying, yes, but you know we need the real stuff.
I think we get like a shot of like Nathalie sipping coffee, and we'll close from there.
Now, unless I tell you what, I would like to call on Mateo to roll that start of session move that I forgot about, because I have in mind one last closing scene for this episode.
Oh yes, I've got a 4.
So, am I right that on a miss?
Unless you get a soft move against me.
Yes, you mark XP.
And I mark XP, yes. Amazing. It's an amazing move.
Then that just works perfectly, because I wouldn't say I was wishing a miss on you, but it matches perfectly with what I had in my mind.
I've never seen this roll. I've seen this roll succeed, this move succeed once, and that was in a quarterly in the last session. So,
well, we look forward to it continuing its track record. I think that we will cut back then to you. I think a flashback almost to your conversation with Lanfern, but from a different point of view. You are framed outside the stage door of the theatre. And we get a point of view of this conversation, and the voiceover is, "Aha! This will cost this Spanish brat." And as he says that, we will turn to see him, and we will see that it is dun dun dun. Jérôme d'Arbanville, your nemesis.
Of course it is. Yes. Very nice.
Who is wearing the uniform of the Betancourt regiment.
Okay.
And
well.
And I would just like to foreshadow complications to come.
Yes.
Da 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 da.
Da da da.
And at that point, I think I'd like to call session unless someone is very keen to do something specific. Okay. I'd like to do a quick stars and wishes, please. Up and down the character keeper. Stephen, any stars?
I mean, stars to Sabine for bringing our characters together and being nicely awkward, and I think I am going to try to come up with a way to bring us back together in even more awkward ways for the next session.
Oh, did I also catch a wish there?
Yes.
So, Lanfern wants to have more contact with Mateo. Okay. Is there another wish? Because I would have come back and asked you, Stephen. But is that the wish, the principal one, or is there something else you'd like to add?
Yeah. Well, I also want to get together with Volo at some point. In fact, I will probably seek out Volo at the beginning of the next session and ask them about this mysterious Betancourt who has showed up in Paris.
That works perfectly. Moving along, Leandro, any stars? And then any wishes?
Yeah, I think my main star is to Pavo for poor Volo. It's just a charming just a charming, probably the most straightforward heroic type. I love that shot of like, there's a plot, and like I thought it would be antagonistic, but like him offering to be like, no, I'm here to like safeguard you, Nathalie. I'm here to help, and it's like I already feel sorry for him. I already feel really sorry for him.
Yes, that naivety may well come to bite him on the bottom.
Yeah.
And what about a wish?
Yeah, I think because of the first session, obviously we won't get more of that, but I do want to like see all these nemesis start like spinning their plots. I mean, we get a bit of that with Jerome and Simone, but yeah, I do kind of like, that's my first wish, to see like them bringing their complications to bear. And I think the second one, I had a second one, but it's I think the second one is to get a bit more action, I guess, because like, there's part of it of like Hearts of Wulin, and part of the whole Three Musketeers thing is to get we are able to fight and whatnot.
I was banking on a duel outside the theatre, I have to tell you.
We do have a reckless duellist, yes, and some soldiers and an Assassin's Creed character. So I would like to see like maybe, I mean, even if it has to be like just a filler fight with a bunch of mooks. I mean, we got enough factions going on. They must have some hired goons. Obviously, I just kind of like have to fit the the fiction, but like, do you want to get like the daring do?
I will endeavour to do some daring. Moving along, Sabine. Stars, then wishes.
Okay, my stars. I mean, I love all the characters. I love all the entanglements and the nemesis, whatever the plural is. My special star would go to Stephen for L'Enfer, who is just great as the belle dame de théâtre spectaculaire. So I really, really like the way, the scene she had with Victoire was also fabulous. And for next time, I wish, yes, fights. Thank you for mentioning this. I forgot this wasn't Good Society, but something where we go. And, yeah, it felt a bit like Good Society, didn't it? I would, of course, in that vein, love to have a scene with my fiancé. English, French, where are you? I imagine it would be very weird, unless we have to fight some mooks. We can combine this. Fight mooks, then find out we are fiancés. Decide that this is still horrible, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that seems like a very good place to go. Okay, and then finally, Pavel, any stars and then any wishes, please?
Stars to everyone for narrating a cool opening scene, showcasing their character and their entanglement. And a star, well, the action was already mentioned. For me, the iconic Three Musketeer action is some action around the couch. I don't know, we are escorting someone, or we are in the couch and we are being attacked. I don't know, just, the very idea of standing on the roof, dueling with someone else, jumping to speak to the horse. That would be, it's just like iconic courage. Yeah, it's iconic. So that's my wish.
Yes, I think that's my wish as well. I think we have to have some kind of complicated Three Musketeer, three-dimensional sword fighting. Otherwise, we could get sucked into thinking this is just Good Society. My stars, Pavel, I was expecting some sneaky doings. Talking to the valet or whatever, but simply straightforwardly wanting to do the right thing for France, I think was spot on. I like that. As everyone said, Stephen, I think L'Enfer is already quite a 3D character. We've got a very fair idea of what she's about. And Mateo, I think Sabine is he is D'Artagnan with a Spanish accent. It seems to me he's just waiting for someone to make him important. And yeah, I have to say, Leandro, because you are kind of at the minute, you seem to be the linking thread. So that pleases me enormously. So my wish is that you will pick up that thread and start, just take the cognitive load and do what you will with it, because I think Nathalie is going to turn out to be a good spy. Okay, I will stop the recording at this point and hope it has recorded.
Do we do XP?
Oh gosh, you do end of session XP. I beg your pardon. There's that thing that says if you have engaged with your where is it gone? If you significantly interacted with your highlighted entanglement, mark 2 XP. And given that I set those opening scenes up so you had to interact with that entanglement, would you all add 2 XP? Unless somebody wants to say they didn't. Yeah. And you've got the XP for the entanglement, for the inner conflict, so all is well with the world. Yeah? Have I missed anything else? Stop me now and buy one. Okay. Then I will now stop the recording. Wave bye-bye to the internet.